And I've always thought it interesting that usually the first symposia that anybody puts out, they refer to it as the first annual. And I think that this is very optimistic because it assumes that there will be a second one. And now we are actually at the 14th Pangborn Symposium, which is totally amazing. And the symposia have grown on a steady basis, and they have managed to do something that's almost impossible. They have managed to bring together academia and industry. Right. And they've managed to bring together scientists and business people.
She had come to Mexico several times because her family is also from here, although she's from New Mexico. She's got a lot of family here. And she was also invited by the Association of Food Technologists. And when she arrived to Mexico, she saw that there was no sensory. And I'm talking in the late 70s. So when she saw this little Mexican as her student, she said and planted that seed in my heart. You have to take sensory to Mexico.
Rosemary Pangborn, coming from immigrant parents, like you mentioned, is a real inspiration for us immigrants that are looking for a way to improve everything that we left behind in our country, things that we saw and we want to make better. It's something that I will carry with my career and in my future.
That she started a science long time ago that not many people believed in or actually saw it as a standing science. Mm-hmm. So if I compare my situation to her, nowadays, sensory science in Saudi Arabia isn't very common. I mean, I'm at the moment the only expert in it.
It's not represented in Yemen because it's not a common science. Also, more people don't know about this sensory evaluation. And maybe I'm from my city, especially my city. I'm the only one.
Representing a sensory science in Africa becomes very important. And in the 90s, Pangborn Sensory Symposium, 2019, that is the conference I participated at Edinburgh, there was an initiative that's called African Network for Sensory Evaluation Research. It's called ANSWER, was established with founding members. And this initiative is basically to represent African sensory scientists.
Absolutely. Looking at the Pangborn programs from past years, just seeing how many people from how many different countries attend these conferences and contribute to this field of knowledge, I think that it's obviously a global field. So it's really interesting also to have such a niche field, but it be so global, because then you get to the opportunity to have colleagues that you know well, even though they're on the other side of the planet. So
in Africa, you see that few countries knew or had awareness about the importance, even the role of sensory science. But when we speak today, even as we speak, only a few countries know the importance of sensory science in Africa. But however, we see that initiatives such as the ANSWER that has been spearheaded by Professor Riet de Kock at the University of Pretoria, African Network for Sensory Evaluation Research, are helping the field to expand, to grow in Africa and into other countries, from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, and many other African countries. So it's becoming global at a much faster rate because of such activities and initiatives which raise more awareness about the field.
I think the other thing that I really admire about her is her involvement with the students, because I know that she was very involved with the students and the graduate students, and investing time and effort into the students. And I think that reminds me of the quote from Nelson Mandela about that, that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And I think that's exactly what she has done. She has changed the sensory world because of her investment, because of her education. So I think that's a big thing that I really admire of her.
I just hope that with the knowledge that I'll be getting in graduate school and attending all these conferences and just connecting from professionals from conferences like Pangborn, I could hopefully someday kind of give back to the food science community in Indonesia.
I know it has grown definitely in India right now. There is more cutting edge sensory research, which makes me really happy. And I hope it keeps growing more.
We were taught about the descriptive analysis, that it doesn't matter who does the descriptive analysis facilitation. It's if the methodology is the same, you do it in India or you do it in Australia, it will still be the same. The result should be reproducible. And I can see that during my PhD, when I did the descriptive analysis on chickpeas, and then some of my counterparts have done it in India. And then when we match those attributes and talked about the procedure and the methodology, there's so much similarity.
I'm very proud of sensory science professionals in Latin America and in Brazil. In my opinion, we add important studies to our field. We are always taking part in international conferences like Pangborn Symposium and are contributing to sensory science.
The first step was being able to actually establish the first sensory lab in Ghana. If I'm not exaggerating, it will be in the west of Africa. At least in Ghana and at least in my own small corner at the university, I think we've sown the seed for sensory. And I'm very excited that I have about 4 people who see themselves as continuing in the career of sensory.
There is a lot of room for establishing, but also building capacity for and developing sensory and consumer science on the African continent. And I want to, and I hope that I am already contributing to that in some special way.